What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley 2, and this was an 8-rounder in the Cruiserweight division, and this fight was Saturday, December 18th, from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, and this fight was broadcasted on Showtime pay-per-view, and in this fight, Jake Paul brutally knocked out Tyron Woodley in the 6th round. What a shot this was by Jake Paul. I mean, I'm seriously surprised, I'm going to be honest. I did not expect Jake Paul to have the power to knock out Tyron Woodley, but yeah, he did. Leading up to the stoppage, I had the bout scored 48-47 in favor of Jake Paul. Comment down below your scorecards for this fight. But if I'm going to be honest, I mean, this was not as exciting leading up to the stoppage as the first fight. I mean, it was there was just a lot of holding going on, and it wasn't too eventful. Not a lot of boxing going on, and some notable things to mention. In the 3rd round, there was a headbutt or an elbow. I can't really remember what exactly caused this cut, but I believe the referee said it was an elbow. But after review from like the commentators, taking a look at the highlights and whatnot, they found out that it seemed like it was a headbutt. So there was a huge cut on sort of the forehead area of Jake Paul. But yeah, it seemed like his corner did well to sort of keep it closed and not let it bleed out too much, because cuts on foreheads could bleed out a lot. And we saw that the other day against between Artur Beterbiev and Marcus Brown. That cut on Beterbiev's forehead was bleeding so much. But I mean, Jake Paul's team was able to apply a lot of pressure on that wound and do a lot of work on it, and it didn't bleed for really the rest of the fight. But yeah, then in the 4th round, Tyron Woodley actually took down Jake Paul. He sort of threw him. It looked like a judo throw, I guess you could say, when Jake Paul was trying to clinch. But I mean, it was really a clinch fest, honestly, and the crowd started to boo early on. And I'm going to be honest, the first couple rounds, like rounds 1 and 2, I didn't really get to watch, but because I was sort of half and half watching the Gilberto Ramirez fight, but I was mainly watching the Ramirez fight, still taking a look at this one, and I gave those first 2 rounds to Jake Paul because from what I saw, he was jabbing decently in the first 2 rounds, but it seemed like later on his jab was non-existent. But yeah, he landed some decent shots in those first 2, but really, as the fight went on, it was really just more clinching than fighting. And the reason why I gave Tyron Woodley 3 and 4 were because, I don't know, he was just going on the inside and outworking Jake Paul, I guess you could say, and just landing some of the better shots in those rounds. But it was really, in my opinion, a pretty tough fight to score, because it was not really an eventful fight up until this 6th round. And to talk about that knockout, I mean, this was definitely the best knockout Jake Paul has ever gotten. Yeah, this was an excellent knockout, if I'm going to be honest. Even though it's Jake Paul, I mean, this was a great knockout. Tyron Woodley in the last 50 seconds came forward. Jake Paul he loaded up with his right hand, threw it, perfect overhand right, perfectly placed on the jaw of Tyron Woodley, hit him. His arms immediately went to his side, and he immediately fell face first on the canvas. A highlight reel knockout this was. One of the better knockouts of 2021, if I'm going to be honest. And probably one of the best knockouts of this month thus far. And it could be my knockout of the month choice. Who knows? But, yeah, with that being said, what is next for Jake Paul? I would love to see him fight Tommy Fury. I think that's the fight. He's got to fight Tommy Fury. I mean, that's it. He has to. So, yeah, Tommy Fury is what is next for Jake Paul. But for Tyron Woodley, now 0-2 in boxing, he's done with combat sports. I mean, he really took up this Jake Paul fight, I'm assuming for the money, like the first one, and then now the second one, and now he's getting brutally knocked out here. So I think he's done with combat sports, 0-2. I believe he's roughly 40 years old, or a year away from being 40 years old. So, yeah. I think he's just done with combat sports. Yeah, and he had a great MMA career, but this boxing career, not too great when you take a look at it. So overall, Jake Paul brutally knocks out Tyron Woodley, putting him out cold with a brutal overhand right in the 6th round to become 5-0 with 4 knockouts, and to get definitely the best win of his career thus far, and definitely improvement since his last fight against Woodley in August. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.